Is training an investment or expenditure? It could turn out to be an investment if you know how to use it, and it can become a wastage and an expenditure. I have normally said there are 5 to 6 conditions when a training can become an investment and gives you returns. If you don't fulfill any one of these 6 conditions, training becomes an expenditure or a wastage rather than investment. I don't like to use the term wastage because it's never wastage for the individual who gets the training, but it's a wastage only from the point of view of a company, and therefore I would prefer the term expenditure rather than investment for a company. Uh, what are the conditions that has to be fulfilled to make training an investment with returns and not an expenditure or a wastage? Condition number one, it should be based on the real need of the job. The job requires knowledge, attitude, skills, values, without which I think it cannot be done well. It is only when there is a need for training of the job, it is a requirement, it becomes a investment. Number two condition is that it's not enough that you train a person because he or she requires the knowledge, attitude, skills, but the person should be in the knowledge of this. The person should be interested in receiving that particular kind of a training. If the person is sponsored with a training and he or she is not interested in the training, it becomes an expenditure and not an investment because the person is not likely to learn. And condition number three is that the inputs that are offered should relate to the knowledge, skill, attitude gaps that were originally envisaged in condition number one. So, if what is offered in the training program does not match what is required by the individual or individual role or the individual's own interest kind of a thing, it becomes an expenditure. The fourth condition is that after every training program, the individual who attends the training should go back with a plan of action. The person should make a plan of action. This is what I have learned, this is how I am going to do things differently and things like that. If the person does not return with a plan of action, the person is not likely to implement it, and then it becomes an expenditure rather than an investment. And the fifth condition, after the person returns back from the training program, the person should be given an opportunity to implement whatever he has learned by the seniors sitting with him, looking at the plan of action, approving it, and providing the required kind of resources. So, if you do not provide the resources and make the person accountable in implementing whatever he or she has learned, it ends up as an expenditure and not as an investment and so on. Suppose you fulfill all the 5 conditions. You made sure that the competencies that are required or provided in the training program are relevant and the individual wants, and only those inputs are given. The person comes up with a plan of action, and the plan of action is listened to and agreed, and organization is committed. And the last thing that will help in making training more of an investment rather than expenditure is reviewing the impact of the training that one has gone after a few months, seeing the implementation and saying a good word about whatever has been implemented and learning lesson from this particular kind of a program. So when you fulfill all these, training becomes an investment and it is likely to give returns. Quite often a question is asked when it comes to training, that how do I prove that the training program that I have attended has resulted in any financial gains or benefits to the company. Now, this is where I have a very interesting experience to narrate. We worked with a company which was involved in mining, and in this particular company, a very over enthusiastic CEO sponsored all the young managers between their mid 20s to mid 30s into a 2-month program on general management from one of the IIMs. These people attended a 2-month program and general management program. About 100 of them were sponsored. They all went through the program, and one of the requirements was after they come back, they submit a project, and then the project is listened to by their seniors and approved, and they will carry out the project so that they could implement whatever they have learnt. Unfortunately, I think after these 100 candidates returned in different periods of time, the tenure of the CEO was over. The CEO changed, and a new CEO who never believed in any training program and HRD came to power, and he said that, look, I am not going to sponsor anyone for any training programs hereafter. And that created for a couple of years a little bit of a negative atmosphere, and all those chaps who attended the programs at IIM uh, uh, and came up with projects didn't pursue their projects. After 4 years after these chaps were sent for the training, the second CEO also changed and a new CEO came, and he wanted a training audit to be conducted so that he can resume the training activities so far suspended by the company. Now I happen to be a participant to participate in the audit of this particular kind of company's training program. I went back and interviewed all these, not all 100 managers, but a good number of these 100 managers who went through the 2-month IIM training program, and asked them what is the benefit that they have got and what is it that they were able to do. Most of them recollected very interesting concepts that they have learned. Somebody learned and impressed with marketing, somebody learned and impressed with strategic planning and things of that kind. But most of them said we couldn't pursue our projects because of the change in the leadership of the company, but we had excellent kind of projects. I picked up a few projects and followed them up by talking to their seniors. I said, what happened to this project? I came across a very interesting one. I came across many interesting illustrations, but one of the illustrations was the head of the materials management of this particular company. He said, after my juniors attended a program, one of them came up with a proposal, a project on computerizing the materials management system. He presented this particular kind of a project. I listened to this, I found some loopholes in it, I discussed it with that person, and unfortunately that person did not pursue the project. He was transferred from this department, but I didn't leave it there. I pursued the project, I consulted a few people, and in the last 3 years I was able to implement a system to computerize our entire materials management. And as a result, I am able to save on an average. This is a big company where I think a lot of material transfer take place. My own estimate, conservative estimate, is we are able to save about 4 to 5 crores of rupees every year as a result of this computerized materials management system in our company. So this is something which I can attribute to what I have listened from an individual who attended one of these IIM programs. Now you can see, go back and see if the person concerned didn't attend the program, didn't prepare a project, maybe this person would not have had an opportunity. And he acknowledges this. He says, where I got the wisdom and idea was only when I listened to the project presentation of this individual. This is a very strange and interesting incident. Another person who attended the program said that he suggested to his company some system to save water. And when I talked to the top level managers, they mentioned to me how many thousands of gallons of water they were able to save as a result of some improved practice they have implemented after this particular individual attended the program and so on. So when I went on listing, I easily found almost about an annual saving to the tune of about 10 to 12 crores as a result of 3 or 4 individuals who attended the training program, presented papers, and their seniors picked up some of these ideas and so on. So the entire amount that was spent in the 100 people training is about 2 crores of rupees, something like 2 lakhs per individual. 100 of them who went through is 2 crores. The benefit, if you look at it, just from 4 of them comes to be something like 12 crores. I think this was a very interesting eye-opener, and therefore I concluded it is not enough to say the training is generally beneficial or not. You should go back to all those people who attended the training, get deeper and deeper, talk to those who are working with them, and document these. Then you are likely to see the impact of training in financial terms. I think there are many such examples. I think one has to be sensitive to the benefits of training. If you are sensitive, it is possible to calculate the return on investment from training programs using financial terms. I've given many examples in the book towards the end of the book in terms of exercises. I hope you will go through these and then enjoy. There is no separate chapter on training, but this is talked of everywhere in the book.